Woo! Well, if you're watching this video, chances are you're trying to put an LS into something. Let's talk about that. My name's Kai at TK Speed Shop. If you watched my previous video, you watched us, it was like 2 hours long, 3 hours long. You watched us build this 5.3. We pretty much simulated a junkyard build and like all the little things that I went through when I'm building a motor. But I didn't discuss the cost. So let's go ahead and clear the air about this stigma about carb LSs. They're not as cheap as you think they are. They're not cheaper than going EFI. It's more of an aesthetic kind of thing of what you're comfortable in doing. If you watch this video all the way through, you might see that carb swap LSs and EFI LSs in today's times are kind of similar on price. Enough of all that. So today we're going to be dissecting this 5.3 as far as cost. We're going to use this Gen 4 5.3 as a platform because this is what I use. This is 2024 standards, by the way, of what you're expected to pay when you're building one of these. I got my notes. So let's hop into building a carburetor LS swap in 2024. So first we're going to start off with if you're just getting a stock block, okay? Let's say a stock Gen 4 block. You don't want no camshaft. You know the motor run. You don't want to open it up. You don't want to touch it. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to spend $1,076.96 if you don't even need a swap pan to accommodate your cradle. This second gen F body, this 77 Trans Am, we needed a swap pan. So I bought an Amazon pan. So that bumps the total up to $1,289.94. How did you spend that money? Well, let's say you got a Camaro 350, turbo 350 transmission. You're going to spend $385.99 for this intake. You're going to spend another $129.99 on the flex plate with the spacer and the bolts. That way you can marry your converter and your transmission to this motor. Then you're going to spend another $499 for an MSD box to control all of this. And then you're going to spend $60.99 for swap plates. Now, if you got a small block 350, if you buy these ICT billet plates, they're basically going to sandwich between and you can use your stock clamshells like nothing. So you're not opening up the motor. You're not touching it. You just want a carb swap stock LS in your hot rod. Without a pan, $1,076.96. With a pan, $1,289.94. That's it. That is literally it. But that's not including the cost that you're going to spend on your junkyard motor either. If you know, unless you get one for free. Some people get them for free. So let's talk about modifications like this one. If you want a mild build, like what we did with this, I can tell you right now, this entire setup, I spent $2,436.84 to build this, top to bottom. That's what I spent. That's $399 on the camshaft. I put LS7 lifters in here. That's $179.99. I got BTR chrome moly push rods, $119.99. MLS head gaskets, add another $69.99 onto it. Cam plate, $17.99. This was a 1-bolt cam. Since we're talking about camshaft, I had to change my timing set. That cost me $53.99 from a 1 to 3 gear timing set. Boom! I need a timing chain. I picked up an LS2 timing chain for $69.99. I needed an oil pump, $74.99, because I didn't want to have to worry about whether that other one was good or not. So I just bought one. I took the heads off. Bam, they're torque to yield bolts. Some people reuse them. I don't. I spent another $69.99. And of course, because of that camshaft, I had to put valve springs in this bad mamma jamma. That was another $89.99. Now let's talk about how quick that shit just added up. I'm gonna give you the price without the pan and the price with the pan. Because again, you don't know if you need a pan or not to clear your cradle or whatever situation you got going on. We just went from $1,076.96 to $2,200 and $23.86. We just spent $2,223.86, and with the pan, it is $2,436.84. That's how quick we escalated. That's literally $1,000 escalated. Just that quick. Just that quick. All this stuff was bought off Amazon. Every last piece on this motor was bought off Amazon. Now, let's talk about you down and dirty guys that want to do the cheapest thing possible. Okay, that you're trying to, you want a budget bill, you want a camshaft, but maybe you want to reuse stuff. Maybe you're willing to not risk it. You see what I'm saying? So let's get rid of the lifters. Let's get rid of the push rods. Let's get rid of the timing gear, the timing chain, the oil pump, and the valve springs. Let's say you want to run one of those NSR Truck Norris cams, because those are very popular right now. It's a very popular cam. That camshaft's still $399.99. But let's say you don't want to run any of that crap. Let's say you want to run your stock lifters, your push rods. You don't care, they're fine. You're gonna run the regular timing setup. You're not even gonna touch them dang valve spring. You're still coming close to $1,634.92. And if you need a pan, add it on, because you need $1,847.90. God damn. And that's not even including tax. Also, you can have a carbureted LS in your thing. That's not talking about the cost of the LS, which here locally, a junkyard complete 4853 is $250. What if you gotta run headers? Congratulations. That's more money thrown onto it. A set of headers for this is gonna be $300. Carb, we ain't even talking about the carburetor. What if you don't got one laying around? You better get on Facebook Marketplace and find one. They're like $150 out this area for a used rinky-dink carburetor. That carburetor on there, that was for a whole different bill. I spent like $500-600 for that carburetor 2-3 years ago. It's still that high. Okay? Now let's bring it to a close. Let's talk about the closing cost. Because now I'm going to tell you this. If you just want a simple, stock, carbureted LS in your hot rod, behind your turbo 350, set up, and you don't got to worry about nothing else. This is a complete block. Complete. You are going to spend anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000. That's it. That's assuring that your motor came with a water pump, alternator, the brackets, everything. You got a complete motor, and all you did was take the wiring harness off, swap the intake, put a carburetor on it with your little box. You're looking to spend $1,500 to $2,000, and that's accounting for all the nuts and bolts and stuff that you will possibly have to change or replace or anything like that. That's what you're looking at. Now, let's talk about my situation, or probably the situation you're going to find yourself in, because guys, we're hot rodders. We're not going to just throw something stock together and just, call it a day. Some people do that, and kudos to them. I don't know how they do it. I can't do it. Realistically, to build a mild, budget builded 4853 in your hot rod, you're looking to spend anywhere between $2,000 and $3,000. Okay? The total that I actually came up with for this build, as it sits right now, is $2,751. That is what's in this right now. And you can see I don't have no water pump, I don't have an alternator, I don't have no bracketry, any of that stuff. But that's cool because we're budget building it, but I'm adding little touches to it, you know, for my sake. Now, ask yourself, what if you wanted an EFI unit? I can tell you right now, Ace's EFI, they're cool people. I love them. They got a social media and they got YouTube account. I'm currently running their EFI system on my Monte Carlo. You can buy a EFI setup from them without trans control right now. Today is August the 5th. You can buy that setup from them right now for $807.99 on their website. You hook it all up, simple. But that's not accounting for your swap pan, your swap mounts, your flywheel. That's not counting for if you need linkages. That's not counting for what you need for as far as like a fuel sending setup or any of that stuff. But I will tell you, for my Monte Carlo, my gas tank, my end pump assembly, my ACES setup, and my fuel lines, I got $3,500 invested just in my EFI setup on the Monte Carlo. So, remember that. Prices tend to go up. Is a carb swap build cheaper? Kinda. It depends on how far you really get into it. You can break these down and not touch a dang thing and come out on top. But are you willing to just let it be stock? So don't fall down the rabbit hole and everything will be good. But prices are steadily going up. So like I said, Holly wanted $500 for the swap oil pan, the 302-2. I got this Yin Yang lemon pepper step off Amazon for $142.99. And other than me having to deburr and clean up some oil passages on that pan, it fit just fine. It's literally identical to the one in my Monte Carlo. So, not saying that you can't do the same with one of these intakes. Amazon got one of these Holly rip-off intakes for LS's for $150. Hey, you do that, you save yourself $229 just by not buying the branded one that says Holly on it. You might have to do some work, you might have to clean it up, but hey, you're saving money. But that's all, guys. I didn't really want to like dive into it, but I just wanted to let you guys know, like, this stuff ain't as cheap as it used to be. And all those videos that you seeing people that they do like LS swaps for, like, oh man, I'll LS swap my C10 for $500. He probably did swap that C10 for $500, but what he's not saying is all the other stuff that he already had readily available to do that. That's just for him, his budget. This is straight up, you ain't got jack squat and you're trying to put this in there. Hell, you could have probably, you know, bought one of those Phytex or EFI setups for fuel injection and put it on your 350 and still have money left over to do a little mild build. Go buy you a nice set of AFR heads, you know, the enforcers. I'm done rambling, guys. I appreciate you watching the video. I just wanted to clear up, you know, the misconception of everyone thinks it's cheap to put an LS into something. It's not. You're gonna spend money. I don't know why people like to say that, oh man, it's cheap. It is not cheap. It is not cheap. But It's fun. See you in the next video. I still gotta buy stuff. I gotta buy water pump. I gotta buy headers. I gotta buy spark plug wires because I broke 2 of them.